it's 108 participants who have actually joined in. So this is really amazing. This is really amazing. Huh? Okay. TikTok has 153. Allah, guys have woken up so early today in the morning. This is so amazing, bana. Hadi nasikia niwapigie makofi. I think I have to give you your flowers. Those guys wake up early in the morning on a on a Saturday. Yeah. I think we're also expecting more guys to join in. We are 162 on TikTok, 145 on Google Meet. Wow, it's like over 300 guys in the morning. It's quite fascinating. 172 guys on TikTok. Huh? I mean, this is good. This is good. For those who might be asking what is going on the 10th, is it the 10th? The 10th of February 2025, we'll be starting something we refer to as a 5 a.m. challenge. It's a challenge. Yeah? So many people don't really get to challenge themselves in life. And probably we decided to have like this particular challenge where people can actually join in and challenge themselves to actually get to better themselves. And this is not the first challenge that we've done. The challenge, we actually had this challenge in I think around when was this? That was last year in January, sorry. That was one of the things we actually had. And yeah, so I don't know how to help the guys on TikTok, but probably let me try something. I want to make sure that you guys are able to access my slides. So I'm just going to do some very simple adjustments over here. I'm hoping now it's possible for you to go through now. You're not distracted by the comments. Yeah. Perfect. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining to this morning session. Asante sana. I really do appreciate. Probably you can give us a thumbs up or you can show us an emoji if you've ever woken up in the morning. How many guys have woken up in the morning before? Like if you've ever found yourself waking up in the morning. Yeah. So many guys. There are guys who probably wangapi wanaamkanga asubuhi ama unaamshangwa na mama yako ukiambiwa, hey, excuse me, hulipi rent huku, kindly leave the house. You know? It's interesting enough that there are people. How many live with their parents, by the way? How many people live with their parents? Wangapi wanaishi na wazazi wao? Someone is saying that we have been here since 7 p.m. Oh, 7 p.m. What time did you sleep? Yeah. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Elvis. Let me just start you off like that. My name is Elvis. I'm probably on social media. Probably a number of you guys have actually seen me on social media. I'm not so much of someone who likes to flutter around and dance around the idea of social media. I think it's really about the impact that you actually create on social media. And I just want to be someone who positively impacts the lives of people. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to welcome you to this morning session. And I want us to take like a philosophical approach. And what do I mean by this? I'm going to be using some PowerPoint presentation over here. That is, I'm actually going to be using slides, actually, Google Slides. And as we go on with this, I just want to mention to you that you can easily, all right, you can easily go ahead and use like Google Meet to even change your life. Like you can start creating slides for businesses, for people. So ladies and gentlemen, there's always opportunity on the other side. Okay. So welcome to the 5 a.m. challenge. I got this very, very nice theme, escape the loop on your life. All right. I'm hoping the slides are actually visible on Google Meet. If they are visible, you can actually give me a thumbs up, ladies and gentlemen. In the next 30 to 45 minutes, I believe there are guys wanafaa kurudi kulala. So kuna watu hii story tumalize haraka haraka, they go back to sleep. Perfect. I decided to come up with this theme called escape the loop on your life. And we have a modern trap today. And the modern trap that we actually have is that you don't need more time, you need more clarity. You don't need more time, you need more clarity. And There is this whole illusion of productivity. Most people actually believe that they need more time, right? That if only they get an extra hour in the day, they could actually finally get their life together. But time isn't the problem. Lack of clarity is, right? And you wake up at 7 a.m. in the morning, barely conscious, reaching out for your phone. Instagram notifications, WhatsApp messages, emails, news alerts. Before you even get out of bed, your mind is actually cluttered with a lot of noise, the world's noise. How many people wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is reach out for your phone? How many people actually wake up in the morning and the first thing you actually do is reach out for your phone? Yeah. Have you ever realized that the moment you wake up in the morning and you reach out for your phone as the first thing, by the time you're leaving that bed, you're so tired. You're feeling like you don't even want to go to work. You're not even interested in being part of anything that is actually meaningful in the world. Like you check Instagram, you move from Instagram, you then get to TikTok. After you leave TikTok, then you go to YouTube. After you're done with all these and you're bored, probably you go to Telegram. The guys who go to Telegram, I don't know. Okay. I don't know what you're doing to going to Telegram in the morning, but anyway, there are guys who go ahead and check out Telegram. So before you actually even leave bed, your mind is already cluttered with everything. That is a lot of noise in the world. So first of all, your attention is hijacked. Number two is your priorities are actually decided by others, right? Your energy has been depleted before even the day begins, right? What feels like a harmless morning routine is actually a subconscious surrender to a reactive life. Your attention has been hijacked, especially with smartphones. You realize, yeah? Your priorities, they've been decided by others, by other people's social media posts. Your energy has been depleted even before the day begins. So, ladies and gentlemen, where do you want to be? Now, let's talk about the reality of you waking up late. By the time you're out of bed, the world is already ahead of you. By the time you wake, how many guys wake up at 7 a.m. in the morning? How many people wake up at 7 a.m. say 7 a.m. in the morning? Na kuna ile raya ya kuamka 11:30 to confirm whether they are breathing, and there is some food so that they can take that food and then go back to bed, right? So when you wake up late in the morning, you first of all, what the first thing you're going to do is that you're going to rush through the morning, scrambling to actually get ready. You check your emails, you react to messages, and you jump into work without a second to think. By noon, you're drained. You feel like you've been busy all day, but nothing meaningful has actually been accomplished. So many people actually get to wake up late. I mean, someone probably wakes up at 9:30 a.m. And I still wonder, are you paying taxes when you wake up at that particular time? Right? That's a whole reality of those people who actually get to wake up late. Now, this is not actually just a bad habit. It is a trap, one that keeps you on autopilot. Right? The problem is that you don't have isn't that you don't have time. It is that fast. It is that fast. It is that your fast waking moments are controlled by everything except you. You allow everything that is on your side, like especially smartphones. I used to have this problem. Like when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I used to do is go to TikTok. I remember there's one good time I got a proper heartbreak, nikapigwa vumbi proper. So I used to wake up in the morning. And the first thing I used to do was go to TikTok. Yeah, I used to go to TikTok and probably just watch content there. You see, by the time you're saying that you're leaving your bed, or by the time you're now like leaving your bed to start preparing for your day, you're already tired and you don't want to even know what is going on. So we need to shift from the chaos to actually control. What if you actually flipped your script? What if instead of waking up reacting to life, you designed it yourself, right? Someone is saying they cannot see my slides. My slides are actually visible. Probably what you can do is just leave the session and then join the session again, all right? So what if you made a shift from chaos to control, actually? Yeah. Now you can imagine this. You open your eyes at 5 a.m. Yeah. Someone is probably thinking, this is a miracle. At you open your eyes at 5 a.m. The world is still asleep, no distractions, no noise, just you, your thoughts, and your infinite potential. Instead of scrolling, you breathe. How many people wake up in the morning and confirm they're breathing fast before you reach out to your smartphone? You need to confirm whether your lungs are actually working properly. Ama unaamkanga tu unasikia iko. And you don't even check whether you're breathing, yeah? Someone probably wakes up in the morning, uko na homa, ulifungana kifua. You don't even remember what you dreamt yesterday night, but you reach out to your smartphone the first thing, all right? Now, instead of scrolling, you breathe, reflect, and set your intention for the day, right? You engage in a ritual of clarity. What is clarity? Journaling, reading, movement, creation. It's very important. No rush, no external demands, just you deciding who you want to be. And there is something I refer to as the power of the first hour. The first hour of your day isn't just any other hour. It is a foundation upon which your entire day and ultimately your life is built. Win the morning, win the day. That's something I actually like to use. Win in the morning, and you can actually win the day. It's not about just waking up clearly. Sorry, it's not about waking up early. It's about waking up with purpose, right? You're going to find it that you don't wake up in the morning. How many guys wake up in the morning and they just wake up? Kuna mtu labda ulisikia tu 5 a.m. challenge, so you just wake up. You need to wake up with purpose, something that you're going to be doing. Huwezi amka tu and you start breathing. You're just depleting the oxygen levels in the atmosphere. You need to have a purpose when you wake up in the morning, right? The truth is, you are either number one, starting your day with chaos, which is checking your phone, reacting or rushing. Yeah. Starting your day with control, which is thinking, creating, and setting intentions. Yeah. You wake up in the morning, you're a chick. You want to check how many guys have DM'd you on Instagram. Kuona kama kuna mmoja ni potential, so that you know whether they can actually start paying your bills, right? One actually leads to stagnation, the other leads to growth, clarity, and self-mastery, right? And the challenge itself is a choice between two realities. So I'm going to paint this picture for you, ladies and gentlemen. Person A, I want you to have this picture in your mind. Person A is half awake, scrolling their phone in bed, absorbing other people's thoughts before they've even had their own, right? Person A has just woken up, yeah, is half awake actually, not even fully awake, scrolling their phone in bed, absorbing other people's thoughts before they've even had their own thoughts. They've not even been able to plan their day. And person B, right, is sipping coffee, journaling, reflecting, taking command of their thoughts before their day begins. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those guys who are in the Google Meet session, I'd like for you to actually unmute your microphones and tell me whether you would like to be person A or person B. And if you want to be person A, that's still okay. If you still want to be person B, that's okay. So, person A or person B?
Person
Person B.
B.
Person B.
Person B.
Send it in the chat section, actually.
Person B.
I can hear so many guys are saying that they want to actually be person B, which is very, very good. Now, one of these people is designing their own life. Who do you think is designing their own life, ladies and gentlemen? Who do you think is designing their own life?
Person B.
Person B.
Of course.
Person B.
And the question is, which one of them are you actually as a person? Because tomorrow morning when your alarm goes off, you have the choice of, number one, to wake up into the chaos or to wake up in control, right? Are you going to wake up in the morning and start thinking about Ruto? Are you going to wake up in the morning and start thinking about the problem that you have in Kenya? Are you going to wake up in the morning and start complaining about each and every aspect of your life that is going wrong? Chaos over control. You have the choice, right? Now, ladies and gentlemen, your life is built in the moment no one sees, all right? The 5 a.m. challenge is not really about time. It's about who you decide to do before the world decides for you. There's a book called The 5 a.m. Club by a guy called Robin Sharma. How many guys have read that book or have actually come across that book? I would recommend you go and read that book. It's a very, very good book. They use a very interesting approach when it comes to you trying to understand the difference between those people who actually wake up in the morning, own their life, and actually just seek control of their lives and try to better themselves, right? And as we move on, ladies and gentlemen, there is something we refer to as the illusion of being awake. Most people think they are awake because their eyes are open, okay? How many guys, when you wake up in the morning, just because your eyes can see, you think you're awake, right? You wake up in the morning and you realize, oh, macho inaona, my eyes can see. Ah, good. So now the question is, how many of you are actually truly present? How many go through life without questioning their actions? How many repeat the same routine every single day, convinced that they're actually in control, when in reality, you're trapped in a loop of unconscious behavior? How many people wake up in the morning, like when you wake up in the morning and you see that your eyes are open, What's the first thing you do? If it's the same thing that you do each and every day, then you're trapped in something we refer to as an unconscious loop, all right? A loop of unconscious behavior, right? So what is it that you do? What is it that defines someone who is actually awake? Now, you wake up, you check your phone, you rush, you do what you've always done. By the time you realize it, another day is gone. And yet, nothing has changed. This is not living, ladies and gentlemen. This is just existing. Yeah. You've woken up, you check your phone, you rush, you do everything that you've always done. Probably someone goes and brushes their teeth. And then you go to Twitter and insult a few people. Then you go to TikTok and say, you, who jamani shida ukiongea TikTok? Ni tutajifanya jua vitu mingi sana huyu. And you continue. Then tomorrow in the morning you wake up again. Yeah. You go again, you find this jama again. Who jamani scammer? 5 a.m. challenge ni nini? It's everything. That day you wake up in the morning, you go, you find another video of Zakayo. Yeah. You're doing nothing. Zakayo must go. Ruto must go. Yeah. Then day 4 again, you wake up in the morning. Yeah. Probably you're kidnapped. I probably think you might be among those people who are kidnapped because of how noisy you are. Eh? I mean, that's not really living. It's just existing. When you wake up in the morning and you see that your eyes can actually see, that doesn't mean that you're fully awake, right? And the 5 a.m. challenge itself, or 5 a.m. is actually a wake-up call. And the 5 a.m. challenge is not about time. It's about breaking the cycle. It's about choosing presence over autopilot. It's about reclaiming the first hours before the world hijacks your mind. It's about proving to yourself that you're in control of your own life, right? So many people don't know that you can wake up just 1 hour before everything else in the world, like everyone else in the world actually wakes up and work on your life. Like I normally say, like if you're an employed person and you cannot be employed for 15 years, especially for my fellow youth, you cannot be employed in the same job for 15 years. At least wake up in the morning and start preparing each and every day. Like for example, you can decide that you're going to start learning a skill like digital marketing so that by the time, like for example, you've worked in that company for like 18 months, you're ready. You can now leave that company feeling happy because every single day for the past 18 months, you've dedicated at least 1 hour every morning or even 45 minutes. It doesn't have to be 1 hour. You've dedicated at least 45 minutes towards self-improvement. So what is it that you're doing to actually get to better your life? Are you trying to prove yourself that you can actually get control over your life? Or are you just choosing to run on copilot? You wake up in the morning, unaenda unafungua click up your job. Ama the project management software that you use. There's this lady you hate from HR. Anakubo too, right? So you choose to run on copilot or autopilot. Now, the truth is very simple, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't take ownership of your mornings, someone else will. Your phone will. Actually, your phone can actually take control over your morning. How many guys woke up at 4:30 and the first thing you did was take your phone? How many guys? So a smartphone can actually be one of the things that is actually going to control you. Number 2, your job will, right? You wake up 5 a.m. in the morning to go to work. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I just want you to think about this. Which is the most important resource that we actually have? Which is the most important resource? You can unmute your microphones and tell me, which is the most important resource that you have? Anyone in the challenge? It's time. The most important resource that you have is time. Time is the most important resource. Now, 3 things can actually control your mornings. Number 1 is your smartphone. Number 2 is your job. Number 3 is other people's expectations, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your boss, everyone. By the time you're ready, in quotes, to focus on yourself, you have already lost so many or a lot of important energy. And this has actually been lost in the noise. So you have to choose what you want to do. And ladies and gentlemen, waking up early in the morning is not about grinding, hustling, or getting more done. The guys who think that you wake up in the morning to be more productive. It is about creating space before the distractions, before the obligations, before the demands of the world take over, right? It's about you having that space away from distractions to actually get to better yourself, to actually get to improve yourself. Some of the things we're going to be talking about in the 5 a.m. challenge, starting on the 10th of February, is really about planning your mornings, using productivity tools like Notion, getting to understand things like building discipline, something like building habits. These are things that you can actually consistently do on a daily basis, right? And the most dangerous thing is a day lived unconsciously. How many people live unconsciously? Anyone over here who lives unconsciously? Unaendanga tu, unaambiwa kama hebu shika upeleke hii hapa, unaenda. Jerry, come here. Where are you? Where are you? Uko wapi? Let me pick you up. Umeamshwa 6:30 a.m. So a wasted day doesn't feel like a tragedy, right? Most people think like a wasted day is not a tragedy to you, not in the moment. But I want you to look back in the past 5 years. How many days slipped by unnoticed? How many days did you create something meaningful? Just think back, 5 years back. Just take this as a challenge. Because honestly, so many people are actually living unconsciously. Probably after this session, utaenda useme, hey, guy, na huyo jamaa amenimotivate. Huyo jamaa. And then kidogo kidogo, you slip back into unconsciousness, right? So, how many days have slipped by unnoticed? How many days did you create something meaningful? What is it that you did that is meaningful, that is valuable, that provided value, right? Now, the scariest part is this, that you can waste your entire life in comfort. One day you will wake up and realize that there are no more mornings left to change. Every day you are either, number one, you're drifting, doing what is easy, what is familiar, and what is expected. Or number two, you can actually be designing, choosing clarity, purpose, and intention over passivity, right? So the choice is yours, ladies and gentlemen. And the good thing is that today happens to be the 1st of February, 2025. So happy new month, ladies and gentlemen, as we proceed. The difference is very simple. Conscious action, and it starts the moment you wake up. The shift. Let's talk about a shift. Who are you actually going to become? Or who are you becoming? Look at the clock, not as a measure of time, but as a measure of the person who you actually want to become. How many people have created like a vision board? I think the first thing we'll do in the 5 a.m. challenge is create a vision board. How many people have created like a vision board? You've written it down of the things that you actually want to achieve in the year 2025. Who do you actually want to become? Have you visualized that particular person you actually want to become? And ladies and gentlemen, if the first thing you do in the morning is consume content, consume TikToks, consume Instagram Reels, consume YouTube Shorts, what does that say about your life? If you always start your day reacting, how much control do you really have? You wake up in the morning and you always complain, you governor is not this governor guy. You wake up in the morning reacting. How much control do you actually have over your own life? If you keep telling yourself, I'll start tomorrow, who will you be in a year? It takes a year for you to realize, hey, I've really wasted my time. Are you going to wake up in the morning, escaping your problems, trying to blame each and every person around you? I mean, starting tomorrow, I'll start tomorrow. Does it even make sense? Now, the 5 a.m. challenge forces you to confront these particular questions. Question number one is, what does all the things that you say or what you consume in the morning say about you? Number two, when you wake up reacting, are you really in control over your life? All right. When you keep postponing, when you're saying, I'll start tomorrow, who will you actually be in a year? All right. Now, the 5 a.m. challenge is not about waking up early. It's about waking up to own your potential. The alarm clock is not just ringing. All right. It's about you asking yourself the question, are you awake? Having your eyes open doesn't actually mean that you're awake. Most guys think that when you wake up in the morning, na unaona macho inaona, that you're awake. No, you're not awake. In fact, it's easy for you to steal from someone in the morning because they're still like, you're awake, but you're still bothered. How many people are in academies, boarding school academies? Wangapi walikuwa boarding academies where I used to be woken up at 4:30 a.m. 4:30 a.m. Yeah. I believe quite a number of people, or even in high school, actually in high school. And well, unfortunately for me, I was in a high school that used to wake up at 6:30. So I didn't have that experience of waking up at 4:30. So for us, we used to wake up at 6:30. But the most interesting thing is that we used to wake up earlier to wash. Tulikuwa tunaoshea nguruwe. We used to milk cows. I was in a high school called St. Mary's Boys High School. So the first thing in the morning we used to do is wake up. You're finding people wanafagia. Well, in other schools, people are busy studying. Yeah. The question, ladies and gentlemen, is that, are you awake? Are you awake? That's a question I have for you. Are you awake? The choice, you can either choose to actually remain asleep or take control. Tomorrow morning when your alarm goes off, you'll have two choices. Number one is you can actually choose to hit snooze. How many people know how to snooze? I think no one should have actually invented something we refer to as snooze. Yeah. You hit snooze and stay asleep, not just in your bed, but in your life. Get up and prove to yourself that you are capable of change, right? And not for productivity, not for success, but for clarity, presence, and purpose. All around the 5 a.m. challenge, some of the things that you're going to really be looking at a lot is clarity, presence, and purpose. Clarity, presence, and purpose. I'd like for you, ladies and gentlemen, to unmute your microphones and read this. Clarity, presence, and purpose.
Clarity,
presence,
This is going to be our guiding mantra: clarity, presence, and purpose. Because the moment you take control of your mornings, you can actually take control of your life. You can wake up in the morning and learn a skill. You can wake up in the morning and read a book. You can actually wake up in the morning and do something constructive. You can wake up in the morning and listen to a podcast. You can wake up in the morning and go through a course. You can wake up in the morning and probably go learn something that opens your mind. You can even wake up in the morning and even write your own book. You can even wake up in the morning and prepare to leave your job. You can wake up in the morning and start crafting LinkedIn posts. You can start preparing to actually leave your job, right? And it's something that you can actually really do. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about two different kinds of people. We have the default versus the creator. The default versus the creator, right? Now, majority of us fall on this level, the default. The creator ni watu wachache sana, like probably the 1%, right? Now, there are two different types of people in this world. Those who wake up in the morning to consume and those who actually wake up to create. Where are you? Do you wake up to consume or do you wake up to create? Okay. By create, by the way, let me be serious about this. The guys who might be thinking creating is something else. Creating is not morning glory. Yeah. The guys who think that it's your chance to wake up in the morning and procreate and create and bring existence into this world. No. I don't mean creating. Yeah. The guys who are like, by the way, I'm a creator. Don't beat yourself in the chest and say that you're a creator. Yeah, there's a different. I mean, a different creator. Waking up in the morning and chanting and singing to Morning Glory and listening to some R&B, yeah, and doing crazy things to your girlfriend doesn't make you a creator. Yeah, probably you're just a consumer. Okay, and after creating, you're going to go back to bed. Yeah. So there are those who wake up in the morning to consume, and there are those who actually wake up to create. The choice is yours. There's one thing we refer to as the invisible divide. Every morning, two people wake up, all right? They live in the same world. They have the same exact 24 hours, right? But the only way they start their day determines everything. One wakes up by accident, a slave to the external world. The other wakes up by design, a master of their own reality. Let me repeat that, ladies and gentlemen. One of them actually wakes up by accident, okay? A slave to the external world, and the other decides to wake up by design, a master of their own reality. So, where are you? I'm going to ask this question, ladies and gentlemen. Are you one who wakes up by accident, or are you one who wakes up by design? One or two? One or two, ladies and gentlemen. One or two. Which one do you choose? You can actually just drop your personal choice in the chat section, right? Number two, most people are saying, hakuna mwenye anasema I wake up by accident. Now, the difference between these two people is, number one, intention. You're not just waking up to another morning, you're waking up to an identity, right? That's something you're going to be looking at, right? Now, the default person, this is a person who actually lives a life of reaction. They live a life of reaction. The default person does not decide who they want to be. They let the world decide for them. Number one, they wake up to check notifications, messages, and obligations. This guy on TikTok is like, now by the way, I think I need to learn a skill. Then after you finish that, you go and get another TikTok. Yeah. You watch another TikTok of some guy, dancing and something like that. So what they do is that they wake up to actually notifications, messages, and obligations. They change their phone. They check their phone before they even check in themselves. Some guys wake up. How many people wake up in the morning and you don't even check whether your legs are working? You've not even checked whether your legs are working. Like wewe umeamka tu na ukachukua simu, hujaangalia kama ulipata stroke usiku. You've not checked whether your legs were eaten. I mean, this is someone who, this is a default. Yeah. You're enslaved to external factors. I mean, when you wake up in the morning, I think the first thing you need to check is check on yourself. Are you doing well? Miguu inafanya kazi? Yeah. Is your brain functioning? Yeah. Are you even breathing? There are guys who wake up and they don't even do. You need to wake up and do like a sound check. 1, 2, mic 1, 2. You don't even want to see. Wewe umeamka tu ukaanza kuscroll, yeah? They start the day by absorbing other people's thoughts, opinions, and priorities. The first thing they'll do is that they're actually going to go to Twitter. They're guys who like to go to Twitter. When the Twitter utukanane kidogo, utukanane, and then the following day you're kidnapped. And then we start creating TikToks, free you. I mean, you start your day consuming other people's thoughts, right? You go and watch some lady, some woman, some man telling you, oh, you shouldn't, don't entertain anything in this world. Oh, you start consuming other people's thoughts, opinions, and priorities. You live in a reactive mode, always catching up, always responding, and always feeling behind, right? And ladies and gentlemen, by noon, by the time noon has actually hit, your energy is depleted. By night, you wonder, why is nothing changing in my life? You are alive, but you're not awake. The choice is yours, ladies and gentlemen. By noon, your energy is depleted. By night, you wonder, why has nothing changed in my life? All right? And then there is the person we refer to as the creator. Let's talk about the creator, ladies and gentlemen. The creator doesn't just wake up to react. They wake up to create. All right? They rise before the world in silence and clarity. Okay? You wake up at 5 a.m. in silence, in clarity. They resist the pull of their smartphone, of social media, of external noise. Yeah? You wake up in the morning and you want to resist the urge of checking your smartphone. Most people like these devices a lot. All right? They engage in deliberate action, writing, reading, reflecting, and moving. All right? Writing. How many people write? You know, by the way, let me give you a challenge to tonight. If you ever sleep at night and you realize that there's a lot in your brain, like you're going to bed and you're realizing, oh my God, there's a lot. Kuna idea fulani. The best thing you can do for yourself is write that down. There's an app on your smartphones and probably your iPhones. How many guys have iPhones over here? Ama sisi wote ni wa Android. Do we have Android? Kila mtu hapa ni Android, eh? Okay, there's no big difference anyway. But when you realize that you've woken up in the morning and you're not even waking up in the morning, before you sleep, probably for most people, I recommend at least have sleep between 6 to 8 hours. Okay. And in fact, if you're in this session and you've not gotten sufficient sleep, after this session, please go back to bed. Please go back to bed. Go back to bed, sleep, have very good rest. But when you're going to bed at night and you realize that you lack clarity, intention, there's a lot of things bothering you in your head, write them down. There's an app called Google Keep. Write all those thoughts down. If you have like this business idea, write it down, write it down, write it down, right? There's something we refer to as journaling. Journaling is very, very important. Write everything down and then consume helpful content. Read perspectives. Read to actually inform yourself, right? That is a creator mindset. All right. Then you reflect. And then the most important thing is moving. When you wake up in the morning, by the way, just go for a walk. Like immediately after this particular session, go for a walk. Go for a long walk. You know, walk. Make sure that your body is moving. All right. These guys create before they consume. You wake up in the morning to create. You don't want to be consuming anyway. Now, before the world even notices, they have already shaped their mind. You've been able to shape your mind. You've shaped your body. And they've actually set a particular direction for the day. They don't just start their morning. They architect their life, right? You need to take that perspective of being the creator of your own life. Now, the real question is, ladies and gentlemen, which one of them are you? Your morning is not just the start of your day. It's the foundation of your identity. Look at the why you wake up, all right? Why did you actually wake up? Do you consume fast or do you create fast? Do you let the world control you or do you control yourself? Do you wake up with purpose or do you wake up out of habit? Do you just wake up because you're supposed to be waking up? Do you consume fast before you create fast? Do you let the world control you or do you control yourself? You need to choose that, right? The answer defines your future because the truth is very simple. Your first action of the day is the most honest reflection of who you are. That's something you need to think about. Now, you can actually shift from being someone who actually operates by default to being a creator. Now, becoming a creator itself is not about discipline. And let me stress again, ladies and gentlemen, for you guys to understand, creator, si ile kitu tunafikiria. Most guys are thinking creator. Creator, si venye unafikiria. The moment you realize that your mornings are shaping your life, you can no longer, all right, ignore them, all right? You will pause before reaching for your phone. You will define your first hour. You will create instead of react. Very, very important. You don't need 3 hours a day. You just need 1 hour a day. You need 30 minutes a day, okay? To pause before reaching out for your phone. You will define your first hour. You will create instead of react, okay? This is not really about waking up early. It's about waking up for your potential. Now, every morning when you wake up, when your alarm rings, you will have a choice. Number one, by default, snooze, scroll, react, repeat. Default, that's the default. Snooze, scroll, react, repeat. You can decide to create. Rise, reflect, build, become. Rise, reflect, build, become. Okay? I'd like for you guys to actually take these. I'm actually going to be sharing these particular notes with you because I tend to think they can actually just help you better. What about us who wake up at 4 a.m. to start preparing our kids to go to school? Very well. Then wake up earlier. Wake up at 3 a.m. Yeah, wake up at 3 a.m. Now, the difference between who you are and who you want to be lies in what you do when the world is asleep. Which side will you actually decide to choose, right? Which side will you actually personally decide to choose? Good. The ritual of awakening. Let's talk about that, ladies and gentlemen, because we should be done in the next 10 minutes at most. The ritual of awakening, the ritual of waking up in the morning. The first hour is sacred, ladies and gentlemen. And one of the things most guys need to understand is that waking up at 5 a.m. is not about grinding. Most people actually think that you're waking up to grind. There's nothing like grind. Some dudes wake up in the morning and you're taking selfies. Taking selfies in the morning instead of changing your life. Ati unapigia watu picha kitabu yenye unasoma. You're taking photos of a documentary you're listening to. You want to show people that you're grinding. You want to show people that you're awake, right? If you can't do it for yourself and you're doing it for other people, you're doing it all wrong. Waking up at the first hour, it's about deliberate design, a system that shifts you from actually running from autopilot to intention. Most people wake up in the morning to consume. You will now for you will actually wake up and create. Now here's how you're actually going to do it. There are 4 pillars of an intentional morning. Let me talk about that. 4 pillars of an intentional morning. Number 1 is waking up with intention. Intention. I want you to say this. No phone, no distractions, and then you take control over your life before the world takes over. Number 2 is you move your body. Motion creates energy. Energy creates clarity. A strong body fuels a strong mind. If you can wake up in the morning and go for a walk, very well. If you can wake up in the morning and go for, and you decide to go for a run, if you want to go to the gym, go. All right? Move your body. That is pillar number 2. Pillar number 3 is silence your mind. Silence your mind. Reflect. Journal. Engage in deep thoughts. Listen before the world starts speaking. Okay? Pillar number 4 is create before you consume. Write. Think, strategize. Write, think, strategize. In the 5 a.m. challenge, you're going to be talking about how to use a tool called Notion. Notion is a very good tool. It's a productivity tool that you can actually use to write, think, and strategize. Your first action should be an output, not an input. Let me repeat that. Your first action in the morning should be an output, not an input. Yeah? You don't want to be consuming all jargon, every single jargon that comes in your head. And by the way, I'm not preaching. I just have to say that. I'm not a pastor. I don't preach. But what I believe in is sense. I believe in people, consuming sensible information that can actually help their lives. I mean, so many of us, like, let me not lie, ladies and gentlemen. I think the 844 system really destroyed our cognitive abilities. It really denied us the chance to actually cultivate or build our own lives because we met a system. Right? Like if you ask me, why are we waking up at 4:30 a.m. to go and study what is parts of a butterfly? You wake up in the morning to go and do chemical tests. You're mixing chemicals in the morning. Someone else has woken up in the morning to study social studies. Umeenda uko na karatasi unasoma map. Like, honestly, I tend to think that a lot of time is wasted trying to get people to align with the expectation of what can work for them, not what will work for them. And that's why, like, when you wake up in the morning and before you consume, you choose to write, think, and strategize. All right. Your first action should be an output, not an input. Like, we were waking up in the morning to get what? To get grades, to perform. But did we really perform, honestly? Anyway, design your mornings, design your life, ladies and gentlemen. The way you start your day is the way you live your life. Distractions or focus, choose one. Consumption or creation, choose it. Mediocrity or mastery, choose one. Your first hour is a choice, choose wisely. Majority of the people who follow me, majority of the people who consume my content are young people. And there's one thing I've actually gotten to learn is that so many of us are living in a distraction-filled world, all right? Where we are doing a lot of consumption without thinking of creation. We are living mediocre lives instead of mastery. Okay? Like, honestly, if you realize, like, most of you guys are probably in relationships, and the first thing you wake up in the morning is to argue with your girlfriend or your boyfriend. What kind of life is that? That's a mediocre life. If it's your boyfriend who is living in your house, chase him out, mfukuze. You need to design your life. You cannot be waking up in the morning to noise, right? In fact, I tell people that if you personally find that there's a problem with the people that you're interacting with, unaamka asubuhi kushinda ukimuuliza, if that's the thing that you're doing, ladies and gentlemen, that's not the way you actually own your life. So you need to start designing your mornings, design your life. This could actually help you. All right. Now, why do most people actually fail? Why do most people fail? Let me just respond to this. Why do most people fail, ladies and gentlemen? All right. The mind craves comfort. Let me share a quote with you. The mind craves comfort, and growth demands resistance. I mean, everyone wants to be comfortable. Believe me, everyone wants to be comfortable. The mind craves comfort. But for you to grow, you need to resist this particular comfort. All right. Now, there's something we refer to as the lie of motivation. That is one of the reasons as to why so many people actually get to fail. Most people wait for the motivation to change. They say, I'll start when I feel ready. I just need more willpower. Maybe next week. Tutafanya, tutatenga, tutafanya. All right? I mean, I'll start when I feel ready. I just need some willpower. Maybe next week. Yeah? Ladies and gentlemen, I personally believe that there is a lie in motivation. Okay? Someone is saying that utamuandoa ni kelele za bibi. If there is a statement that I personally don't like when someone utters, is that one. Ati utamuandoa ni kelele za bibi. This is something that we've met. And you see, let me tell you one thing, ladies and gentlemen. When something is like a norm, we all tend to embrace it. And that is why so many guys are living miserable lives. You see, when you hear someone saying something like that, I'm sorry to say this, but nitasema tu you're toxic. All right? Utamuandoa ni kelele za bibi. Because when that wife of yours leaves you, all right, and you get a good woman who probably doesn't have a lot of noise, you're going to wonder, kwani, what is wrong with her? You're going to start looking at her, you're wondering, what is wrong with this chick? Jumezoea kelele. Now you've gotten someone good, all right? You've gotten someone good, but the thing is, you're used to noise. For me, I don't really believe in that whole mantra of ati sijui utamuondoa ni kelele ya bibi. Yeah? How are you going to be living a meaningful life if you're married to someone who is making, yeah? Okay? So for me, I believe in not being that kind of person. And I'm not saying, we're not really talking about relationships over here. Let me just say that. Let me just leave that for now. But there's some things I don't stand by myself. I tend to believe that we are living mediocre lives because we've taken some things that society has really like forced upon us because they think that it's right. But at the end of the day, it does more harm than good. I mean, you've seen it on television where guys just erupt, someone else stabs someone else. I mean, it's not normal. I think it's important for people to really prioritize the most important things. I'm not trying to say that you frustrate someone. I'm just saying that just be mature. Maturity is very, very important when it comes to relationships and that. But anyway, we're talking about the lie of motivation. Now, motivation itself is unreliable, all right? And you don't need motivation. That's one thing I believe. You need a system that makes success inevitable. Most guys will focus on motivation. Like, by the way, how many guys go to church over here? How many guys go to church? I'm sorry to say this, but majority of pastors in Kenya are just probably lying to you and probably just hyping you up and just making you feel a certain kind of way, right? If you go to church, most people are going to church to seek motivation. Most people go to church because, ati huyu pastor anasema nitabarikiwa, all right? I will be driving my car in 2025. But ladies and gentlemen, do you think that really works? Most people don't. They get the motivation. But what you need is systems. In fact, Mimi, if you asked me, if I was a pastor, I think I would be teaching people how to do business. When we wake up in the morning, there's nothing wrong with that, all right? Because people need systems. They don't need motivation. They don't need words. They need systems. Systems are something like creating like a course, a 3-day blueprint to help people actually achieve something, all right? Well, I'm not saying you don't go to church. Tomorrow go to church. Usiseme jamaa fulani TikTok alikuambia sijui nisiende kanisa. Go to church. Not to seek motivation, but really to look for ways and systems that you can actually implement in your own life. I also tend to believe that nowadays we're turning churches into dump sites, where now people are not turning them into religious institutions. You're turning them into a place that you actually run to when you've had problems in life, right? You're a man, you're a woman, you've engaged in some bad behavior. But since you know the Lord is all loving, you go back to church to reclaim and get spiritual cleansing. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrong perspective. I believe that you should be going to church every morning, right? Or probably you should be going to church to nourish your spirit, to better yourself as a human being, not to reclaim what you lost as a young person. You find someone engaging in alcoholism for the past 15 years, right? Or you engage in some weird behaviors. But since you know that one time you'll go to church and someone is going to pray for you and bless you, and you're going to tithe, you live a very, very bad life. For me, I'm not saying that you don't go to church. I'm just saying sometimes question your intention, because most of us don't go to church having an intention. We go to church having wrong expectations. You go to church, you want a good wife, right? But she's not there, honestly. You go to church looking for a good husband. He's not there. Because we have these expectations in our minds that we've actually normalized by seeing what society shares with us. And ladies and gentlemen, that's a hard truth. So you need a system, you don't need motivation. Now, here's the resistance you will face. When your alarm rings at 5 a.m., your mind will fight back, all right? When you wake up, when your alarm rings at 5 a.m., your mind will actually fight back. 5 more minutes. How many guys have found themselves doing that? I'll say I'm one of them. I'll actually say I'm one of them. When I wake up in the morning, it's dakika tano. And I'm telling you, do you know how good sleep, those 5 minutes of sleeping for those 5 minutes is very good. Unasikianga vizuri. I don't know how, you realize that you can sleep for 6 hours or 7 hours, but those 5 minutes are just amazing. You can sleep like ukilala to 5 minutes, 10 minutes after you've snoozed your alarm. They're very good. You say things like, I can do this later. It's not a big deal to skip today. Yeah. So these are some of the things. Now, this is comfort speaking, ladies and gentlemen. It's not about logic. And remember, in the beginning of this session, I said that the mind craves comfort. Growth demands resistance. Okay. And every time you listen to this, you reinforce the habit of staying the same. The challenge you have, ladies and gentlemen, is not really about waking up early. The challenge that is there is winning the battle with yourself. The challenge is winning the battle with yourself. Winning the battle of not saying 5 more minutes, I can do this later. It's not a big deal. Kesho ni siku. I mean, you have to really think about that. And then the identity shift, ladies and gentlemen. You don't fail because you're lazy. You don't fail because you're lazy. You fail because your identity is a person who quits when things get hard. Success isn't about doing more. All right. Success itself is not really doing more. It's about becoming the person who follows through no matter what. Okay. Most guys think it's more. Now, in this, there's a book I would like for you guys to go and buy and read. It's called How to Calm Your Mind. And probably in the weekend, I would like for you to spend time and read that book. Okay. It's an amazing book that can really open your mind with areas on productivity and try to explain to you, right, that it's not always about the more perspective, the more perspective, the more perspective, right? Just think about it. Now, every time you get up at 5 a.m., you're proving to yourself that you can, number one, I do what I say I will do. I don't negotiate with my comfort. I'm in control over my actions. That's the most important thing. The book itself is called How to Calm Your Mind. How to Calm Your Mind. How to Calm Your Mind. It's a very good book. Okay. Now, the real reason as to why so many people fail is that they never decide. Most people are interested in change. Few people are committed to it. Most people are actually interested in change, but very few people are actually committed to it. Now, the question I have for you, ladies and gentlemen, is, are you just curious about success, or are you the type of person who demands it from yourself? Are you that kind of person who is curious? You're just curious about success. Or are you the type of person who demands it for yourself? Choose what you think is right by you. You don't need more time. You don't need more motivation. You just need to stop negotiating with life. You just need to stop negotiating with the life you say you want. Oh, I just want a flat tummy. Me nataka. You need to stop negotiating with that and you need to start actually working. Now, ladies and gentlemen, who will you become? Who will you become? The moment you wake up in the morning, all right, is the moment you decide the trajectory of your life. The moment you wake up in the morning is the moment you decide the trajectory of your life. Now, the future is a choice. That's one thing. Let me just repeat that. The future is a choice. You're not just waking up to another morning, you're waking up to a decision. Stay the same or evolve, react or create, wait or act. Now, every action you take is casting a vote for the person you will become. Let me repeat that. Your future is your choice. You're not just waking up to another morning, you're waking up to a decision. Staying the same or evolving, reacting or reacting, waiting or acting. And every action that you actually take is casting a vote for the person you want to become. So where do you want to be? There's something we refer to as the silent transformation. The silent transformation. Now, no one is actually going to see your mornings when you wake up in the dark, unless you decide to take selfies. The guys, like for example, when you decide to engage in personal development, I just want you to understand one thing. You wake up in the morning, all right, for your own personal development, not for people on the internet. The guys who think that you wake up in the morning and you start taking selfies all around. Oh, I'm check me out. I'm just waking up this morning to read a book. Like you've woken up in the morning, and you know it's really a bad perspective, because that hour of the morning demands for you to actually just be intentional. All right. Some guys are just focused on posting on social media. No one is going to clap for your discipline. No one will understand why you do it. But 6 months from now, your results will be undeniable. You wake up in the morning and you decide, this year, I want to build a personal brand. So every morning at 5 a.m., I will wake up, spend at least 30 minutes understanding how to create content. All right. And in 6 months, there's going to be a transformation, a silent transformation. The world actually rewards what you build in silence. What you build in silence. Yeah. Not building in the noise, not building telling each and every person, oh, no. There's a silent transformation. No one will see the mornings you wake up in the dark. No one will clap for you for your discipline. No one will understand why you do it. But most people are going to be there asking you, how did you do it? How did you do it? How did you do it? I mean, think about that. There are two versions of you, ladies and gentlemen. There are two versions of you. Every morning, two versions of you actually exist. The first one is the one who decides to hit snooze. So they delay action, they wait for perfect conditions, and they stay in the loop of I'll do it tomorrow. Kesho ni siku pia. Kesho itajipa. There's nothing like that kind of a statement. Ati itajipa. I don't believe in such kind of a mantra. That's a mantra that makes people lazy. It's a mantra I think really justifies laziness, especially for young people. Itajipa. There's nothing like itajipa. Ni wewe ujipe ili ijipe, because we don't promote laziness in such kind of mediocrity, where we think that the world owes us something when we say something like itajipa. Think about that. So person number 2 decides to rise at 5 a.m. You do what you say you will do. You choose progress over comfort, and you understand that success is just discipline over time. Let me repeat that. Success is just discipline over time. Success is just discipline over time, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the difference is one stays stuck, the other decides to transform. One decides to stay stuck, the other decides to transform. You choose. Okay? And the final question I have for you, ladies and gentlemen, is your future self is waiting. The only thing standing between you and them is what? Your decision in the morning. When the alarm rings, you need to ask yourself the question of, am I waking up as the person I want to become? Because the life you want to build is actually in the hours no one sees. Because the life you want to build is in the hours that no one sees. How many guys have ever woken up in the morning and you've seen, like, uliacha mahali tu, it was an empty land, but you've woken up in the morning one day and you've already seen someone has been doing construction at night, especially in Nairobi. Sometimes you wake up in the morning and you see, oh my God, how did these guys construct this road at night? We didn't see it, right? That's the question you have for your own future, ladies and gentlemen. Join the challenge. You're most welcome to be part of the 5 a.m. challenge. The time will pass anyway. The question is, who will you be when it does? When time actually passes, who will you be when it does? Number one, I just want to explain a few things about the 5 a.m. challenge. The 5 a.m. challenge is not about waking up early. There is a difference between waking up early, all right? It's about reclaiming your life, your mind, and your life. It's about reclaiming your time, your mind, and your life. It's not about productivity. Let me just repeat that. It's not about productivity. It's about presence. It's not really about discipline. It's about identity, right? It's not about the morning. It's about who you are becoming. Yeah. Don't take pride in you waking up in the morning. Who will you become by doing that consistently? Most people will say, I want to build discipline. It's still very okay because that's one of the things you're going to be focusing on. But with discipline, you get to structure and craft a new identity. When you wake up in the morning, do you wake up to be productive or do you wake up to be present? Okay. We used this very simple scenario of saying, so many people wake up in the morning and their eyes are open. They can see, but are they really present? That's a big question, ladies and gentlemen. It's about presence. And here are some of the things that you're actually going to gain from the 5 a.m. challenge. First of all is developing unshakable self-discipline. You don't negotiate with comfort. You create before consuming. We're going to be looking at things like journaling, writing down your thoughts, using AI tools to break down your thoughts. First thing we'll do is actually even craft a vision board for ourselves, all right? You're going to be able to master your focus before distractions creep in, all right? You'll be able to own your time, stop living on autopilot, and start designing your life. You will have clarity and purpose, where you start to each day with intention, not reaction, okay? You start each and every day with clarity and purpose, where you start with intention, not reaction, okay? And then the only question that is going to actually matter is 6 months from now, will you be the same person? Or will you have changed? Will you be waiting for motivation? Or will you have proven to yourself that you can actually do it through action? Will you continue to live on autopilot or will you take control over your life? You already know the answer. You have to choose the answer yourself. And the time is now. You don't need more information. You don't need another sign. You don't need to wait till Monday. And you just need to start. When the alarm rings tomorrow, don't think, just rise, because the life you want is waiting for you at 5 a.m. in the morning. So choose what you want to be. And ladies and gentlemen, I just want to give you a warm welcome to the 5 a.m. challenge that is going to be starting on the 10th of February to the 14th of February, 2025. 10th. Oh, 14th is actually Valentine's Day. We're charging 2150 Kenyan shillings for those guys who actually want to be part of the sessions. Those are 5-day sessions. Someone might be wondering, why do you charge? Well, the reason we actually charge is, first of all, we are living in a world where you have to pay bills. There are people who actually make this a success. But anyway, I just want to share a warm welcome for you guys to actually join the 5 a.m. challenge. It's an amazing challenge that is going to broaden your horizons and open your mind. Last year, we had 350 participants. Currently, I'm not very sure about how many people we were going to be having, but through God's grace, we can get a good number. And I just want to welcome you. So for those guys who might be interested, I think on TikTok, probably there is a link that I always share. If you actually go to my TikTok account, really, you will find a certain link that is there. There is a link that is there. If you click on this particular link, it's going to lead you to my other various links, and you can click on this one. It's going to lead you to the 5 a.m. challenge, and you can actually just click over here, enroll now. You input your name, you input your M-Pesa number, you input your WhatsApp number. Once you do that and you click on proceed with payment, you're going to receive, you're going to get an STK push. An STK push is going to allow you to input your M-Pesa details and everything. And the moment you're able to pay, you'll be added immediately. You're going to receive a message to just join the WhatsApp group. If you're not able to click on the link, all you have to do is just save my number. You're going to be receiving the link from me. Immediately you make payment, you receive the link. There's no need of waiting. Everything is automated. But in any case, if you always have a question, you can always reach out. I think my number is still on TikTok. You can throw me a message on WhatsApp through this particular number over here. And yeah, unfortunately, we don't have Lipa Mdogo Mdogo for those guys who are actually asking. Yeah, but you're most welcome to be part of the 5 a.m. challenge. We had 245 on Google Meet, and we had 221 on TikTok. This is really amazing. I'm so happy to see this. Yeah, there are things you can really do. You know, most guys, like most people ask me, Elvis, how do you actually get to, how do you even work? Like unakaa kama unawakingi 24 hours a day. I think for me, I like work for 5 hours a day. 5 hours a day, really. Because some of the things I do are just planning and organizing my days. Like one of the tools we're going to be looking at on how you can use, on some of the tools you can actually get to use to plan your day is a tool called Notion. I don't know how many guys have actually heard of Notion, but for the guys who are in the AI productivity classes, we're talking about this. Like there's something we refer to as planning your day. Planning your day. And for me, like I like to focus on probably like two tasks or three tasks, three most important tasks. I don't do like you know, focus on like 500 things. I don't do that. I just focus on the most important tasks that I'm supposed to be doing. So like for example, Monday, January 2027, all this was done. And the good thing is that with Notion, you're able to track progress. Like for example, when you do something, like there's always proof of that. So if you want to take accountability of your days, it's easy for you to use a tool like Notion to just track and check on your productivity. Now, apart from that, we also have something we refer to as ClickUp. Unfortunately, for the 5 a.m. challenge, we're not going to be talking about ClickUp. You know, these are the tools I'm always telling you guys that we all need to be learning how to use, all right? I don't want to take questions at the moment. I don't want to take, but if you have a question, I think you can actually throw it in the chat section. You can throw it in the chat section. I can try and respond to that. But for me, like, let me tell you one thing, ladies and gentlemen. For me, I personally believe in like, first of all, we need to live in the digital world as it is. I'm going to tell you something funny. Yesterday, nilikuwa nimesema, let me go and buy a kabambe phone. Ati nifanye social media detox. And hiyo nililemewa. Because we've become so dependent on technology because we make money from it because we make money from it. So I realized I cannot escape technology. So this is ClickUp. If we have any freelancers over here, you know, I think we're already done with the introduction of the 5 a.m. challenge. What do you think? What do you think about our presentation? What do you think about my presentation? I'd like to get some feedback from you guys. What do you think about my presentation? You can actually share a comment over here. You can share a comment over here. I'd really like to get even the guys on TikTok. You can share your perspective or what you actually think about my presentation. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you have to say. Yeah. So if you have some input, yeah. So I decided to take like a philosophical approach. Instead of telling you, why should you wake up in the morning? I decided to use like words because words have the power. Yeah, words have the power. And I'm actually going to be sharing these particular slides with you guys. Good thing is that we've already recorded this particular session. So you're going to get access to that. So I was telling you something about this tool called Notion. These are tools that can help you like organize your day, all right? They're even tools that can help you work better. If you look at this, like for example, if you're working on a project for a client, like the other day I was planning my website. This is my website. And like, it's easy for you to organize everything and have every single thing about what you're doing in one page. Like for example, I was looking at who is actually the target client for Terra Creations. There's something over here. Then there's a copy for the About Us page. It's here. Like I have everything structured in a manner that is well organized. These are tools. These are tools called ClickUp. So please, guys, go ahead and check this out. Don't wait for the Ministry of ICT to come and teach you this. All right. Like for me, someone is asking me, what should be the maximum number of tasks to work on per day? Normally, me, I say 3. 3. Like, let me show you something. I normally say, always try to use Google Calendar. How many guys know how to use Google Calendar? Wangapi hapa wanajua kutumia Google Calendar? Most people, unaamkanga asubuhi unaulizwa, unasema niko na meeting wapi na wapi? I mean, always try and focus on at least having, I think 3 tasks per day. 3 per day. Like for me, I always want to have, like, you see, this is 1, 2, 3. These are things I just want to remember. Hiyo ingine nimewafichia kidogo msione. So like write 2 Medium blogs daily. For those guys who don't know Medium, let me show you something else. Watu wengi sana, you know, normalize reading. Put your phone on do not disturb. Go to Medium. Come over here, read. Let me tell you a lot of things. Most of the time, most people don't want to prioritize reading. Where unaonaga tu TikToks. In as much as you're watching TikToks and consuming a lot of this stuff, let me tell you one of the things that we are crazily doing is that you're frying our brains. Our brains were not meant to be watching 4 social media platforms in 2 hours. Umetoka TikTok, ukaingia Facebook, ukatoka Facebook, ukaingia YouTube. I mean, read books. But for me, I tend to believe that have at least priority on 3 tasks. 3, only 3. And the funny thing is that I personally believe you should only spend like 1 hour or 2 hours on those tasks. And then the next like 3 hours are yours, especially as a young person. Most people don't know how to craft their future, right? You spend 3 hours texting women or 10 hours. There are guys who spend 10 hours. Unashinda tu ukisema ksaksa, hey, ukiona messages zako hazijareplyiwa, you say, hey. I mean, honestly, sometimes people live mediocre lives in a way and they don't know, right? For me, I believe that, you know, use at least 2 hours to do work, right? But at least 3 hours to engage in constructive things for yourself. Like today's age, man. Like anyone over here. How many guys have LinkedIn profiles? LinkedIn. How many guys have LinkedIn profiles? You should be creating LinkedIn profiles already. Like immediately after this particular session, please go ahead and create a LinkedIn profile. Create a LinkedIn profile, Nani, right? Wake up in the morning every day and say, Leo, I'm crafting 2 social media posts. Like if you look at this, so I was recently nominated as top 10 LinkedIn influencers, LinkedIn creators in Kenya. I was number 3. The first lady was, I'm forgetting her name, but number 2 was Larry Madowo, and number 3 was me. So I think the image is here. Create a LinkedIn profile. Have something that you focus on, in building. You can imagine like, oh yeah, here's a post. Actually, Larry was the first. Oh, Larry Madowo. Number 2 was Wangeshi Kuria, Elvis Muthoni, Ivy. So quite as you can see, there is something we need to understand here. Gentlemen, something is wrong with us. Look at all these and Wangalia. How many gentlemen are we? We are 3. Yeah. So it's time for you to actually get to have something that you're working on. You can be working on your LinkedIn profile, right? You can even go ahead and start working on your personal website. Some guys wonder, what do you do when you wake up in the morning? You can work on your personal website, right? You can go ahead and start crafting something for yourself. You can work on a course. Like you wake up in the morning again, you can go to YouTube. I'm always sensitizing something like YouTube is probably one of the best places for you to learn. Yeah. Okay. In as much there are guys who are saying that they wake up in the morning to pray and, you know, doing all these things. I actually like how ladies put it out. They say that we wake up in the morning to pray, to listen to music, you know, uplift your spirit. That's really very good, Pia. It's very, very good again. But also get to a point where you nourish your mind with information that can actually make you some money, right? We don't want to be having this continuous cycle of our women and our ladies going to church, to tithe, to look for husbands, to, you know, guys are going to church to look for wives, I think we're in a point in the world right now where attraction is key. You become to get, all right? You become better as a person to actually get the person you're looking for. Yeah. So you're finding every single day, guys are like, hey, you know, tunaenda kuambiwa na pastor tubarikiwe. But what if you woke up in the morning and you are intentional about your self-improvement? You get? Yeah, in as much as you're going to be looking for that husband and wife, you need to be really intentional about improvement with the perspective of attracting someone who is actually like thinking like you, or someone who is, But anyway, you wake up in the morning to learn. You can wake up in the morning and learn skills again. You can wake up in the morning and learn skills. This is like a YouTube channel. How many people are familiar with this YouTube channel? How many people are actually familiar with this YouTube channel? Like if you look at this course, kuna jamaa tayari, they've already released a course on this AI called DeepSeek. How many people have heard of DeepSeek? Yeah. How many guys have? This is probably one of the best YouTube channels. Like if you wake up in the morning and you're really intentional about knowing how to use AI. Like in 2025, some of the things you need to be understanding is how to use AI, how to utilize artificial intelligence. Yeah. DeepSeek is outdoing ChatGPT. Niliona juzi ilikuwa inaongea Kikuyu. Like when you are doing, let me show you something. When we were tackling one of our classes recently, let me show you. And they also have an app. Make sure you download the app, by the way. Make sure you also download the app. It's really amazing. It's cool. Like I went ahead and asked this thing whether it understands Kikuyu. And this thing is shocking because I asked it at Kuhanatia. It says in Kikuyu translates to how are you? How is it in English? Is it a common greeting that you use to ask? It's interesting. And I used some funny Greek over here. And it's fascinating anyway. So how about you wake up in the morning and you plan your days? All right. I'm also going to show you something. I mentioned an app called Google Keep. All right. This is where you jot down everything that comes in your head. Like you can even come over here and start writing. You can just say, you reflect. Yeah. You can even have it a title, Daily Reflections. Number 001. I had an amazing session this morning. Yeah. The dude was teaching on, the 5 a.m. challenge. Just write down. Some people, one of the things that most guys don't do is that they don't write. So wake up in the morning, like you can journal, you can read. Like an example would be when you read a book, you sit down, all right? You sit down and just craft things, right? You start writing things that you've learned. How many people read books and they're intentional? Like when you read a book, if I come and ask you, ulisoma nini? Lakini kuna mtu sahi, like, honestly, like if I ask right now, wangapi walifanya kitabu ilikuwa inaitwa Kidagaa Kimemwozea? How many guys have done that? Kuna kitabu fulani ilikuwa inaitwa Kidagaa Kimemwozea. And there was another one by this one Akoko. This is Akoko book. It was called The River and the Source. How many people remember the stories in those books? How many people honestly remember the stories in those books? Because what we were doing is that we were reading these books to excel. Hatukuwa tunasoma damu nyeusi, sijui there was another book called Kifo Kisimani, sijui kuna Safari Njema. I mean, most of these books were meant for us to perform. They were not meant for us to understand. So when you wake up in the morning, you read a book for like 20, 25 minutes. Spend the next like 10 minutes writing down and jotting down the things that you've learned. All right? There is something we refer to as a highlighter. Kuna watu wanaulizanga highlighter ni nini? Is one time I went and told guys, get yourself a highlighter and get a book. And someone was like, guy, what is a highlighter? Oh, I know the difference. And I know the reason. The highlighter is used for makeup. Highlighter pen. You know? This is a highlighter. This is a highlighter. Okay? If you're someone who reads physical books, in your highlighter. This is a highlighter. So let me just be very specific with that. This is a highlighter. So you use this to highlight, like for example, when you're reading a book, you use this to highlight. Yeah. Now, someone was asking about the Google Calendar. Google Calendar is a very, very important tool because it allows you to plan your day. Like an example would be like my task for today. Like now, you plan your day, Pia. You can plan it in the morning at 5 a.m. Like you can plan and say that today I will be working on a website for my agency. All right. Then you can add some details. The copy is ready. And all I need to do is just craft the about us page and the services pages. And then you can probably decide it's today. What time? You decide that you're going to start on it at around 10:30 a.m. in the morning. You can decide whether you want it repeated. Like you can repeat it every day. Okay. You can actually decide that it ends repeating on the 3rd of March. For me, I can decide that I need to complete that project by the 7th of February, just like that. And then it's done. It repeats each and every day. So anytime when you do this, you just need to mark it as checked. That's easy, right? But now, if you want to have like an advanced outlook, let me show you something. This is a workflow of me creating the website. And I said for me, I want to do it in 3 days. All right. I want to complete it in 3 days. And I'm using ClickUp to track my progress. Okay. So day one, content finalization and page structuring. Okay. Currently, I'm working on my business website. So let me just actually open it up for you because I don't like to say things. I just like to show them to you. Okay. So this is a website I'm actually working on. So yesterday I was able to structure the header. Yeah. I was able to structure the various pages to organize the information properly. I was able to structure everything. And now all that was by me planning like all these in something like this. You can do it in the morning anyway. So ladies and gentlemen, I just don't want to talk much. I hope you've learned something today. Oh, bado tuko watu wengi. We are over 400 already. I thought most people had left, but anyway, I'm looking forward to having you in the 5 a.m. challenge. I tend to believe that information is power, and yeah, information is power, and you can actually just get to improve your life and better yourself as a human being. Generally, clarity, purpose, and what? Clarity, purpose, and what? Those guys who are shouting, clarity, purpose. Where those guys? Clarity, purpose, and what? Kwani mmenyamaza? Umesahau nyinyi wale ama you already in bed? Presence, exactly. Presence.
Presence and purpose.
Good. Clarity, presence, and purpose. Thank you so much, guys. I really do appreciate. I never anticipated having so many people, but those are some of the things you're going to be looking at. It's already 6:19 a.m. in the morning. We started at 5 a.m. and I am excited to start this journey with you. So if you're interested in being part of the sessions, you can always be part of the sessions. And in the WhatsApp group, I think Susan happens to be my personal assistant. She's going to throw a message. Susan, if you're here, please throw a message in both WhatsApp groups. I think we have 2 WhatsApp groups for the challenge. Zilija bwana. This challenge is this WhatsApp group. There's one over here. This is group 2, has like 902 members. This one is guys who are interested, that is. And then we have the first one. The main one has like 1024. So Susan, please, you can share some details for those guys who actually want to pay over here. Yeah. And anytime you have a problem, if you want to be part of the sessions, you can always reach out to Susan. The deadline for registration happens to be next week on Thursday. So if you miss out, pole, but don't worry. Over time, you can probably access this. I'll be sharing the recorded version of this particular session. Thank you to the guys who joined on TikTok. TikTok has 226 guys. Aish. Siendangi live sana. Unajua mimi si ule mtu wa kusema give me, nipatie dhao tatu. You know. Does that thing still exist? Where people go live on TikTok to ask for money? One time nilienda nikatusiwa, nikaambiwa, wewe mzee, toka hapa bwana. Nilienda kuambia watu double tap the screen and I had to leave that session, manze. I received some proper thrashing anyway. But thank you to everyone who joined on TikTok. Thank you to everyone who's been part of this particular morning challenge to empower yourself. And I'm really looking forward to having you in the challenge. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. And AI is going to be one of the things we discuss here. Artificial intelligence is going to be something we discuss. So please be part of our sessions. Thank you, and have yourselves a lovely Saturday. All the best. Remember, don't create. Yeah, if you get the joke, yeah, don't create this morning. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking forward to having you in the challenge. Thank you so much. Thank you. I owe you a lot, and thank you for just being present. It's really important. We start like that. But yeah, so asanteni. Thank you.